On guys, welcome back to another episode of Sloppy Saturdays, and today we are going over a hypothetical what if. I'm sure everybody has seen it already, but it is rumored that Browns have heavy interest in Arch Manning. Who doesn't? And also heavy interest in Nick Saban. Jimmy Haslam is close to the Manning family. He's also close to Saban's agent. So this all lines up and makes sense. We are going to talk about if this could possibly happen and why I think the Browns, out of any team, even though it is still unlikely, has the best chance for this to happen. Let's get right into it. Now, first off, I said time and time again in this QB battle, the way they worked out of the Travis Hunter trade, I believe they are stacking their chips for this year's upcoming draft. I guess you would say this year's upcoming draft, because you have two first round picks now that are in the top 10 in what is going to be a loaded quarterback draft, whether Arch Manning does forego this draft or doesn't. Like, you have a loaded quarterback draft. You have four potential first round picks, again, depending on if everybody meets expectations. Also, depending if somebody comes out of nowhere as well, which very well could happen. But when you look at Penn State's Drew Aller, Lenore Sellers, Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier. Those are four guys we expect to be first-round picks no matter what. So now it is always a question. It has been a question if Arch Manning is going to come out next year or the year after. My personal opinion on this, I have said that if Arch Manning does have a great year, if he meets expectations in a way, and I said the only way that he meets expectations if he comes away with a Heisman Trophy, solidifying he was the best player in college football, or leading Texas to a national championship, leading the best team to a national championship. Either of those would meet expectations for him. And I feel like after that, he would come out if he's, guaranteed to be the number one pick in the draft. Because what else are you going to stay in college for, possibly risk injury for? Now, I understand why he would want to stay and start 2 years in college. It makes sense. Archie Manning has said it. I mean, when you look at players who have been successful as of late, a la Jaden Daniels, like players that have started multiple years in college football, it does ease your development into the NFL. And also on top of that, not only does the Manning family have a ton of money, but he is also making his own money right now. There is no pressure with NIL deals and what Arch Manning is making to come out for financial stability. Like, he's getting that in college football. Basically, the world is his. He could either stay in college football or go. The money doesn't matter. And again, it's all up to his development. But I believe truly, if he wins a Heisman Trophy or if he wins a national championship or possibly even both, then it goes the best possible way it could possibly go. He's going to come out. If he's guaranteed the number one pick, he's going to come out. Now, the tricky thing is for the Browns and Arch Manning, like, I believe the Browns have the best chance out of any team, having their own pick, having the Jaguars pick, having possibly the worst QB room in football. Like, their pick is going to be very high. It is possible, even though I'm high on the Jaguars this year, that the Jaguars pick is in the top 10 as well. Like, let's face it, the Jaguars have been picking in the top 10 what feels like almost every year. So, again, they're going to have two pretty high picks they could have. So, it does make sense, as they have two first-round picks, that they are eyeing this. The only issue I have with Arch Manning coming out, whether it's this year, like if he comes out this year and the Browns don't have the number one pick, it's going to be very hard to obtain that number one pick. Like, we've seen when quarterbacks like Andrew Luck and Trevor Lawrence come out, like, unless they ask for out, like if they don't want to go to a specific team, like, it's nearly impossible to trade for that pick. Like, if you have a generational talent, number one pick, no team's going to give that pick. It doesn't even matter what you offer. That pick is just basically untouchable. So that's my number one concern. If the Browns are coming up with the number one pick, it has to be a very unique situation for them for the team at the number one to trade out of it. Like, it would have to be maybe like Tennessee, who drafted Cam Moore number one overall, and he's shown flashes, but they were still the worst team in the league. They would trade out of it possibly, but it has to be a very unique situation like that. And then I also believe as well, them having two first-round picks, again, two picks that could be very high, in a loaded quarterback draft class, I think they're not going to pass up on a quarterback they want, even if Arch Manning doesn't declare. Like, I don't think they're going to go 3 years in a rebuild, especially in a loaded quarterback class, to select Arch Manning. Like, if they have two first-round picks, and like I said, those four first-round quarterbacks are available, or at least 3 out of the 4 are available, they're going to make their mark. But this basically secures what I said on the Browns when we were talking about Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, who's going to start for them. Unless they see something extraordinary in their rookie year out of either of them, they're going to go quarterback next year. Like they 100% are going to go quarterback next year with 2 first-round picks and a loaded quarterback class. They have to see something phenomenal in year one out of either of those QBs. And it's going to be very tough to see that. Obviously, as they have 4 quarterbacks in their room, they have the biggest number QB room out there. Like it's going to be very tough to see that. And like I said, I believe they're stacking the deck for next year, and it makes sense. Like the QB class is loaded. They have 2 first-round picks. It's going to be interesting to see, though, if Arch Manning does come out, because I don't think they're going to wait 3 years for a rebuild to hope to get the number 1 pick. Like I believe Arch Manning does have to come out next year for that to happen. But also as well, we're getting into them possibly wanting Nick Saban as well to pair with Arch Manning. I'm very, very surprised that the Browns have interest in Nick Saban, because we saw Bill Belichick the same age as Nick Saban, the best coach of all time in the NFL. Bill Belichick, the same age as Nick Saban, not get any NFL interest. So I'm very surprised that Nick Saban is getting NFL interest at his age, really doing nothing in the NFL. Like he has been a mediocre coach in the NFL, to say the least. So for him to come out at 73 with a very small window and for an NFL team to have interest, again, I said it in my Nick Saban video of him possibly returning to coaching. I believe the only way he would return to coaching is an NFL opportunity like this, because I believe he's not going to go back to college football. Again, he would have never left Alabama. Alabama and him, the best situation you could possibly have. He would have never left that situation to go to another college football team, in my opinion. It has to be for a different journey to succeed in the NFL if he still has that burning passion. So that would make sense to me. Like, I think if the Browns were to reach out and this opportunity were to arise, like, I think Nick Saban would definitely take it if he is interested in coaching. Like, this is the only way. It has to be a new type of journey. I'm just surprised, an NFL team has interest in him when we saw a coach the same age as Bill Belichick, the same age as Nick Saban, 73 years old, and him having no interest. So that surprises me. A guy who has way more success in the NFL. But again, if the Browns were able to complete this, sum up this video, whether it were to pan out or not, they would have the most eyes on them in the NFL, which would be worth it as well. So again, a lot of question marks, a lot of what ifs, but out of every team in the NFL right now, if a team were to complete this, I believe it would be the Browns. Like I said, they have 2 first-round picks in next year's draft. If Arch Manning were to come out, which I think is a possibility, they would be the team likely to get him. Obviously, as their quarterback room is the worst room in football, so their pick is going to be high. And the Jaguars' pick could possibly be high as well. They would need to be pretty much number 1, though, because I don't think a team is going to trade out of a pick if they could select Arch Manning. That wraps up this episode of Sloppy Saturdays. A big what if this could happen. It would be insane if it were to happen. That wraps up this episode, and Sloppy Saturdays is out.